In the year 2010, the Church of the Holy Fool launched the last of Sheffield, Alabama's Deep South Pros. Aboard the oversized craft, a lone preacher, Reverend Ethan Akers, was to experience cosmic forces beyond all comprehension. In the freak mishap, his assets were frozen by feminine machinations. The preacher's Cadillac was blown out of its planned trajectory, and into an orbit 1,000 times more vast, an orbit that was to return Reverend Akers to Tennessee 35 years later.
Some 30,000 light years from the center of a galaxy called the Milky Way, there is a small blue planet that is home to 7 billion sentient warm-blooded bipeds. I am one of those mouth breathers. Some would describe the little town in which I live, Oneida, Tennessee, as sleepy. I wouldn't call it so much sleepy as narcoleptic. Time moves forward here in a funny way, often feeling as if it moves not at all. It's not that there's nothing to do here. It's a place filled with worldly entertainment. There are many fine eateries, a spectacular shopping district, and a plethora of social clubs for a person to join. But even with all that, a Southern man will eventually grow tired, depressed, cagey, and he'll then fill his days with activities that make himself feel young and strong, vital. He'll find something, anything, to make himself feel here, to make himself feel alive. I described Oneida as narcoleptic. I chose this word because there'll be these amazing bursts of activity, these explosions of Jerry Springer levels of drama and intrigue. But then always I'll end up here on my porch, desperately fighting a drowsy malaise, a desire to simply nod off. I'm sure the neighbors think I'm just some shiftless sloth. I'm sure my friends and family think the same. But you know what? I'm not so sure. On the Science Channel the other night, Morgan Freeman was talking about black holes, and as his voice, flowing from my little zenith like warm molasses, spoke to me of angular momentum, relativity, and quantum mechanics, I began to see a parallel between my own life and the nature of these mysterious, light-sucking pits of darkness. So, let's try to figure out what's truly happening on my lazy little porch. I think I have an idea, and the black hole paradox can give us a clue. Allow me to explain, my sweet lambs. Let's begin by setting up our stage and its players. First, what can we use to represent a tiny hole capable of sucking all that is pure and beautiful from the universe? I know. Let's use a wedding ring. Okay, we also need a vehicle, something best suited for transporting us to this hole of darkness. And inside our vehicle, 2 brave little pilgrims. Let's call one Neil and the other, Buzz. So Neil and Buzz approach the black hole of darkness, and as Buzz remains behind, fuming that Neil once again is going to get all the credit, Neil leaves the warm safety of their craft and begins to slowly float toward the abyss that looms before him. Now, this is where it gets weird, friends and neighbors. For as Buzz jealously watches Neil float toward the edge of the black hole of despair, Neil appears to slow down and then stop, frozen in place like a fly in honey. However, from Neil's perspective, something quite different happens. Neil does not stop, but is utterly consumed, chewed up hungrily by the gaping maw, his small frame utterly destroyed by gravitational forces beyond the measure of human or insect. On the bad days, the rainy days, sometimes as I sit on the porch, I feel like Buck Rogers, frozen in his space capsule, out of control, drifting into a future where I will be irrelevant and alone. But then I think of the dog who's been hanging around all summer at Terry and Terry's, the empty store down the road. Lost or abandoned, he just sits there on the store's porch, waiting, never giving up hope that eventually someone will come and take him home. He is not angry. He is not in pain. He is patient and kind and beautiful. For those on the outside looking in, I'm sure that sometimes I appear to be stuck, unmoving, perhaps even cold. But inside, my friends, inside there is a great dance, a forward momentum, a cacophony of light and sound that screams into the darkness, I am alive, I am here, I am waiting for you, O mystery, so come, take me into your arms, and never let go. After murdering his brother, the book of Genesis tells us that Cain is cast out of Eden and into the land of Nod. The word Nod is itself a Hebrew word that means wandering. Now, I've spent a great deal of time looking into the past, longing for it, thinking, my friends, that paradise lies not before me, but behind. But now I know that back there is only a flaming sword and bitter fruit. It is before me. Before me there lies all that is strange and unknown. Before me lies the great mystery of life. One of my favorite Tom Waits songs is Rain Dogs. And in that song, Waits implores that we huddle the doors with the rain dogs, for he is a rain dog too. I will huddle my door, and I will deny the rain, my friends. I will never feel guilty as I sit on my porch and watch the world spin by. I understand now that it is in those quiet, frozen moments when time and space no longer have any meaning that we can take the greatest of journeys. We can travel the crooked and less traveled paths of our very own hearts, and there, my friends, there in that land of Nod, we may come to love not just the world, but ourselves. Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal.